Hi guys, welcome to my channel and to my Back to Beauty No Buy year. This year I'm concentrating on using my makeup and not buying any. In today's video, I am using my makeup to bring to you my Shop My Stash for May and my Shop My Stash in retrospect for April. If you're new to my channel, every month I pick a handful of products with which I plan to test and play and get intimate with and figure out my favorite ways to use them, wear them, and or just declutter them. So let's go ahead and talk about my products that I shop my stash for in April. Turns out I did find my perfect red. This is the Smashbox Be Legendary Liquid Lipstick Matte liquid lipstick in the shade Boss. This is my perfect red lipstick in terms of the shade. I'm not a huge fan of liquid lipsticks, but this is a good one. It's really very comfortable on the lips. It's not completely transfer proof, which is actually the sweet spot for me. Of course, I would love if my lip products would stay on all day, but what I tend to run into when the product has that type of longevity is that it's not comfortable and it doesn't wear down beautifully. A lot of times it won't layer over itself very well, or I get that butthole lip that everybody likes to talk about, where it's just dry and cracked on the innermost parts of my lips. This doesn't do any of those things. And because it is such a bold color, I actually like that it is in a liquid lip form. So I actually really like this product. I do recommend the formula. Like I said, it's not completely transfer proof, but that's the trade-off for it being a really comfortable liquid lipstick. This is one that I don't feel the need to put a gloss over top, which is pretty rare, and this puppy is not going anywhere. Next, I shopped my stash for the Huda Beauty Lip Strobe in the shade Angelic. I did wear this lip in my spring lookbook part 1, and I used this in conjunction with my Lorac California Dreaming palette. I actually really like this. With the right look, it really does translate very beautifully. It is definitely metallic or strobe-like, but that was easily remedied for me to a comfortable level of metallic for me just by tapping it out a little bit on my lips after the application. So I really like this. It's something that I hadn't used but maybe once in the past, and now that I know how I like to wear it and the type of cool soft looks that it pairs well with, I will be more likely to reach for it in the future. And last, we have the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade Milan. This is a very bubblegummy pink. And if I'm being honest, which I always am, I did not use this once this month. Every day when I created a look, I looked at it and thought, nope, it doesn't match. It doesn't gonna go with this look. And so I am going to put this back into my collection for now. I do have lip declutters coming up because I would love to pare down my almost 100 lipsticks. So it's going back in for now, but then when I go and swatch all of my pinks next to each other, it's possible that this one will be going away. I love this formula, and I have a couple shades that I really like in this formula. I just don't know that this is going to be the right pink for me. It is quite cool toned, even though I consider it sort of a bubblegum pink. And I just don't think that it might be the right tone for my skin tone, which is fairly warm. So that's the lippies for April. Next, let's talk about this Bobbi Brown Primer Plus Radiance Broad Spectrum SPF 35. As I said in my intro to these products, this product does very much remind me of the MAC Strobe Cream in the shade Pink Light. This is just very much an illuminator as you can see on my hand here. It looks really nice on the skin. One reason why I think this is better than the MAC strobe cream is that the strobe cream kind of made me look like a grease ball. By the end of the day, I felt like it was more of a liquid illuminator versus a primer. This, while illuminating, is definitely a primer. I didn't feel like I looked like a grease ball at the end of the day, and it's really nice. I probably won't purchase it, but I will finish it, and you know, I recommend it. If you're looking for something like this, if you like a fresh, glowy skin underneath of your foundation, this is a really good product for that. So it's going back in my collection, and I might just go ahead and throw this in my Choose Your Own Adventure project at my next update, just so I don't have these little things floating around. The other thing too is that it sets down rather nicely. Like, there's no transfer when I rub on the back of my hand. I just think it's a nice base. I was impressed. It's first Bobbi Brown product that I've tried. Next, I did shop my stash for my one and only ColourPop Super Shock Shadow, Super Shock Shadow in the shade Bouncy. This is really pretty. And of course, as always, I will be honest and say I did not reach for this one time this month. Not once. I just don't reach for single shadows, which is why I don't have very many of them. All of the single shadows I have are housed in this little magnetic palette. We've got these and these two up here. That's it. And I keep those because I do think I will continue to use them, or that I could use them up in a project. But I didn't use this once in April. It sat there with the rest of my Project Panning products, as well as the rest of the products I shopped my stash for, and I looked at it every day and I just never reached for it. And it's not because I don't like it, it's just because I don't reach for single shadows, and I know that about myself. Also, I had not used this for at least 6 months to a year prior to shopping my stash for this. So I think, no, I don't think, I know I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. It is still performing really well, but Super Shock shadows, as some of you may know, do dry out rather quickly, and I would much rather someone get use out of this versus it just expiring in my collection. So I'm going to pass this on to my girl Angela because she's never tried the Super Shock Shadow formula before, and I think it's going to look gorgeous on her because we have very different coloring, and I think she'll reach for this more than I will, but we will see. And then last, for the month of April, I shopped my stash for the Benefit Blush Bar. This one was available in 2018, and it looks like this. You have Dandelion, Gold Rush, California, Hula, and Rockateur. I did discover this month that I really, really love Rockateur. I like the way this looks on my skin. Gold Rush is more of a blush topper for me, which is totally fine. I found that it worked really well over the top of Dandelion. I do have to layer up or build up the Dandelion blush quite a bit on my skin, but once I get there and layer the Gold Rush over top, it was a really beautiful look. Rockateur, I loved wearing all on its own. I did not use the Hula bronzer this month because I was working on a different bronzer in my panning endeavors, as well as I am well acquainted with the Hula bronzer since I worked on panning a mini of it last year. So I didn't feel the need to really investigate it further. I know what it is. It's a matte bronzer. It performs well. It blends well, but definitely not my favorite matte bronzer. Please excuse the sun as it comes and goes. Apparently the forecast says partly cloudy today instead of mostly sunny. Anybody think that's weird? Okay. And then last but not least, My least favorite blush in this palette was definitely California, which I found really interesting because California was definitely the first Benefit blush that I had my eye on. Many times over, I picked up the mini of the California blush at Ulta with intentions to purchase it and always put it back for some reason. Then my hubby found this for me last Mother's Day, so about a year ago, and it was a fabulous deal, and so I have all of these now. And I do feel like now that I am better acquainted with the shades in this palette as well as their performance, how they work in conjunction with each other and things like that, I know I will reach for this more now, and I call that a very successful Shop My Stash. And let's go ahead and talk about the products for which I am shopping my stash in May. I will admit that I got a little bored with the products that I shop my stash for. Whoa, rolling lipstick. And I got a little bored with the products that I shop my stash for in April, mostly because I felt like I developed my opinions of the products rather quickly. And so I think this month will be a little bit different because most of these products are products that I've not used very much at all. So the first product that I'm going to shop my stash for this month is the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Luminizer Primer. In case you're wondering, luminizer is not actually a word. It says my phone and it's autocorrect. This is a really nice primer. I did receive this in BoxyCharm. It is now the oldest primer in my collection, so I want to try it again. I want to make sure that it's still good and functioning, as well as I would like to determine if this is going to be one of the next primers that I attempt to pan because it is an older product. I'm not for sure in general how this will work with my skin as the weather gets warmer. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. I am wearing this product today only on my cheeks, although I look glowy as hell up here. What's going on? The thing I like about this primer, from what I remember and from what I experienced today, like I said, I just applied it on my cheeks and kind of the outer bit of my face. It's kind of like I talked about with the Bobbi Brown primer in that it's not just an illuminator. It actually functions as a primer, as a barrier between your skin and your foundation and things like that. But I also remember using this on its own in the past without any foundation over the top, just concealer and powder. So I'd like to try it that way because I am quickly moving into the time of year where I'll be wearing a lot less foundation. So we're gonna give this a shot this month. In keeping with complexion products, I am also going to be shopping my stash for the Pretty Vulgar The Powder Room in the translucent setting powder in the shade 147 Matte About It. And I received this in BoxyCharm or Boxy Luxe. It is the powder that I have on my skin today. It is translucent, though it looks, you know, like it has a little bit of a color to it. I would equate it to about the same as the Laura Mercier. And I just want to make some use of this. I have not used this in any consistent way that I could form opinions on it. There's a load. There's 25 grams of product in here. It's a little bit cheaper than Laura Mercier, but I'm pretty sure you get a lot more product in here. We'll talk about that next month. But I'm looking forward to trying this powder this month. Jeez. I am having such a weird day. You would think it was Friday or Sunday or something. And then next is a product that I have literally used less than the fingers on my right hand, and it is the Butter London Blush Clutch in the colorway Simply Sweet. I picked this up at Marshall's, and you do get 3 shades in here. I don't know why I don't reach for this. I was dying to have it when I bought it. I thought, wow, what a great deal. I do have this shade on most of my cheeks today, and then just a little bit of this on the apples, which you can't really see. And then this is definitely a nude blush, but I want to try it a couple different ways. I want to see if it actually does perform nicely on my skin tone as a blush, or maybe if I could use it up as a bronzer. So, I mean, this is what Shop My Stash is all about. I want to get to know this product, how I like to wear it. Do I like colors combined? Do I prefer them separate? And so on and so forth. You guys are gonna be like, what a weirdo. And then the last complexion product before we get into lippies is something that I talked about in my April in review video, and it was a beautiful, generous gift from my neighbor, and that is the Kevyn Aucoin Neo Highlighter in the shade Sahara. This is what it looks like. They call this the Golden Rose Glow, and it does have sort of a pinky shade here in the middle. That is what I'm wearing on my skin today, just the pinky part. I targeted my brush right here in the middle. This is definitely 3 different highlighters if you want it to be, but you can also target your brush in different places in order to come up with new shades, and that's what I want to do this month. But definitely this vanilla, the rose, and then this little bit more bronzy shade look very different when swatched, you know, separately or next to each other. So I'm really looking forward to using this month. I also chose it as a reminder not to save things for special occasions. Every day is a special occasion if you want to make yourself feel good, and our products do have an expiration date, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So this month for lippies, I did choose 4, and the first one is the Patrick Star and MAC lip gloss in the shade Mama Star Kiss. Yes. And this is really beautiful. The reason I really like this is, to me, the shimmer in this is exactly like the shimmer inside of an opal gemstone. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell it all, but it's just stunning. It's mostly clear. It's the glittery particles that actually lend to the color of the lip gloss. And for whatever reason, I just don't reach for this. I think partially because the lip gloss formula is a wee bit sticky. So that might be it, but I'm hoping this month I'll learn a little more about it and how I like to wear it and things like that. I am definitely way more into lip gloss right now as we get into the warmer months, so it'd be a good time to test it out. And then for my other 3 lip products this month, I have 3 mini lipsticks, which I'm struggling to hold in one hand. And these are all pretty darn similar. I'm going to swatch these for you, and the goal with these is to figure out which one or ones, maybe, do I like best. They're really similar. Like I said, I want to figure out which formula do I like best, which color is best suited to me, and things like that. So the first one is from Urban Decay, and it is their Comfort Matte Vice Lipstick in the shade Back Talk. Looks like this, and let's swatch it right there. Really beautiful color. I do like this Comfort Matte formula. This is a little bit of a cooler, I mean, it almost matches with my shirt perfectly. It's kind of a cooler dusty rose shade. And then next I have the Makeup Forever Artist Rouge Creme in the shade Rosewood. Again, very similar. Okay, that one's just a tad darker and definitely more of a cream formula. There you go. And the last one is the Tarte, I believe these are the Rainforest of the Sea lipsticks. The print is far too small for me to read. What does it say? Oh, Color Splash lipstick in the shade Salt Life. I received these 2, the Makeup Forever and the Tarte one, in my Sephora Play box. So that's how I ended up with 3 very similar. And of course, this one is a little bit lighter, But again, they're all really similar, especially Back Talk and Salt Life. So I'm going to be investigating those lippies this month, see if I can declutter any of them or not. I have a really hard time decluttering lip products and I don't know why. But with all of that said, I really hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on last month's products as well as about the products that I will be shopping my stash for this month. And with all of that said, I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days. Don't forget to shop your own stash, and I will see you in my next video soon.